Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER One News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER One News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER One News, and it starts now.
Welcome to iFIBER One News. I'm Alan Troop, reporting news from around the Columbia Basin for Thursday, November 21st. Tonight, we report on an appeals court decision on a lawsuit against Samaritan Hospital and how the military exercise is going at Grant County International Airport. In sports, Bob Kirkpatrick reports on Seahawks owner Paul Allen's new funding project and Gonzaga basketball. Our spotlight story tonight is about the encroaching winter months and how drivers should prepare for them. And we have the latest weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER One Weather Center. Our top story tonight: an appeals court upheld a $1.3 million verdict against a Samaritan Healthcare and a nurse anesthetist in the death of a 79-year-old woman. The Washington State Court of Appeals, Division 3, rejected several arguments by the hospital's and nurses' attorneys. They argued the verdict contradicted itself, and the judge should have allowed them additional ways to defend the hospital and nurse. The case could be appealed again and end in the state Supreme Court. The issues involved in the case started in September 2007 when Ruth Dormeyer, a 79-year-old woman, fractured her elbow in a fall. She was scheduled for surgery on September 20th, 2007. When Dormeyer arrived at the hospital, she had wheezy breathing, shortness of breath, low blood oxygen saturation, and pain. She was checked and anesthetized for surgery. Dormeyer died during surgery. An autopsy found she had a large blood clot which detached from her hip veins and ended up blocking the arteries in her lungs. For more on this story, you can visit us online at ifiber1.com/news. Thanksgiving is next week, and as the holiday season continues to grow, so does the demand on food banks. Vivian Huang reports on how the Moses Lake Food Bank is doing and an effort this weekend to help fill their shelves.
The halls of Moses Lake Food Bank are lining up with carts filled with food in preparation for Thanksgiving next week. Operations Manager Penny Archer has spent almost 20 years running the food bank for community services of Moses Lake.
We operate the Moses Lake Food Bank, plus we're a distribution center. We take care of a total of 34 food banks in Grant, Adams, Lincoln, Benton, and Yakima counties.
To help the food bank, Samaritan Healthcare will be hosting their annual turkey and canned food drive at Safeway from Thursday through Saturday, which encourages shoppers to donate food for families in the Moses Lake and Warden areas. All food collected at the drive goes to the Moses Lake Food Bank.
Samaritan's been doing this for us for a long time, and they are awesome. I mean, they make a big difference in the amount of turkeys and food and money that come into us during this season to help us take care of our neighbors here in Grant County. These units behind me are pre-built for Thanksgiving. We're distributing to the families next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We expect to see between 1,500 to 1,700 different families. So anyway, we have volunteers that come in. They build the units that will have vegetables, olives, stuffing, vegetable oil, etc., etc., etc. And so each unit will be given to a family.
The food bank is located at 1075 Marina Drive in Moses Lake. For iFIBER One News, this is Vivian Huang.
Thank you, Vivian. About 700 Army Rangers are about to wrap up military exercises at Grant County International Airport on Friday morning. Since Monday, simulated nighttime gunfire and explosions were heard around the airport, but most of the noise heard in Moses Lake was large aircraft heard flying overhead. Battalion spokeswoman Tracy Bailey said the aircraft were AC-130 Hercules and C-17s carrying Rangers and equipment into the airport. 8-wheeled armored fighting vehicles known as Strikers have been seen driving around the airport. Bailey explained why the Rangers came to Grant County International Airport. She said going into an unknown airfield gives them something to train differently. A new airfield gives these men a challenge. For more on this story, visit us online at iFiber1.com/news. Each of the people you see here has warrants for their arrest and is wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these people, the DOC asks that you not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. We will be back after these messages with the latest from our iFiber One Weather Center, sports, and more news.